pop guy, Brother Ronnie Baker. We lost Ronnie. Ronnie was murdered.
Lord.
And Ronnie was a pop guy for sure. A gentleman who pulled his life together. Gotten completely off the road. He was completely free of all of the had his voting rights back. He completed it. Was in a training over at Building a Better Future. He completed that, and he completed POP and got a good job. He had a very good job. And had got him a little car, nice little Impala. And Ronnie was the most, he had the most beautiful smile for a man with no tooth. Have you ever seen, how can you, and yet somehow he would shine that smile and just dug a second. but man, he just had that, he just had that, he was just a sweet, really a sweet young man, and he just had a really a sweetheart. As a matter of fact, last Saturday over at the Pop House, we was all talking about him, me and Malik, and I think Gerald, you was there when we called him. And we all gave him a call, you know what I mean, and just was hee-hawing. Pop guy, where you at, man? How come you won't, how come you won't, what's up? We love you. And little did we know, Ronnie was already dead at that time. So, I'm sure there's more to the story, but I'm going to tell you what I know about it. His wife came in here yesterday morning. And so, Ronnie's thing was drinking. This is Isaac. He's trying to get here from downtown. So somebody got to go pick him up. Isaac, where you at? Are you downtown?
Station.
What station?
The old police station.
The old police. Okay.
Where
it all began. Okay. Can you give me a street address?
I'm going to go to Hennepin and 3rd. I'm going to try to get to Hennepin and 3rd.
Okay, well just stand on the corner of Hennepin and 3rd, and then we're going to send a pop guy around there for you. I don't know who, but we're going to send somebody.
All right.
All right.
Give them my number.
Yeah, we do it.
All right.
All right.
Later.
Figure that out in 1 second. But Ronnie was, he sat down with me. I don't know what month this was. This was maybe like 3 months ago or 4 months ago. And he lived over at Pop 2, doing great. Kept a little money in his pocket. He was married, but his relationship was very chaotic and dramatic. And he was going to divorce. I wish Malik was here. Malik is in school tonight. And he was going to divorce, but he decided against it. And he wanted to try to be a father to his children. He had 3 children. That 3 children that in the scene, and his wife is pregnant with his 4th child right now. And where's Tierra? Call him and see if he can pick up Isaac at 3rd and Hennepin. So he sat me down and said, well, Pop, I'm going to move, I'm going to go on and go back to my wife and, this and that. And man, that's what I said. I said, are you sure? Because he was still seeing his wife. But, you know, he would go over and visit and come on back. And even though, okay, so anyway, he said, no, I'm going ahead, you know, and I think he believed that if he didn't go and stay, then he couldn't manage her behavior. That's me talking. I don't know if that's true or not, but I believe it is. And so anyway, we went on over there. I guess she tells me, and she was honest enough with me, she tells me that Ronnie was, they started drinking, because, you know, they drank. And so they started drinking, and that's when Ronnie fell off. After he moved over there, I think he came one time to group. And after that, he was drinking, and the drinking got bad. He lost that job. He got some other job selling magazines that was here and in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And there was some training in Sioux Falls that he was going to. Now, he got some history in Sioux Falls. He was always trying to tell me about Sioux Falls, and he was trying to somehow he wanted to get to Sioux Falls. Before he got the good job he got, he was talking about going to Sioux Falls. I'm like, man, what's in Sioux Falls? What are you doing? You doing good. Anyway, he went to Sioux Falls. He lost his driver's license because of he had somebody else blow in his machine. He had the machine, what do you call it? Breathalyzer. So he had somebody else blow in it because he knew he was wrong. And the person was wrong too. And the people shut the license down right away. Hey, Queen. His people shut the license down right away. And so Ronnie wanted to go to Sioux Falls where they had some driver's license restoration program and his job or magazine. I don't know what the magazine thing really was. And he went there. He moved in with a sober guy, a friend, but then ran into an older friend who was loose. And that friend and Ronnie got to drinking, and they just was off the chain. They was over at the friend's house drinking, and they got to arguing about the magazine job. And somehow the friend went into the kitchen and took a butcher knife out of his wife's hands and came back and stabbed Ronnie to death with it.
No!
Yeah, Ronnie's dead, and then this is Ronnie. This somebody passed one down. I don't know if you want one. I appreciate Wayne for printing me. But if y'all could really. It's actually the third homicide in less than a year.
The third? Oh.
Martin's Glass.
Lonzo Martin.
Each one of these were these little domestic relationships. And you know, we have always said that the number one way for us to go back to jail or prison, Nate, you should be listening to this, is a failure to manage a domestic relationship. And so we lost Ronnie, and on Friday the 29th, is that this Friday or the next Friday? This 29th, the next Friday?
This coming Friday.
Wow. It's Friday the 29th at 11 a.m. 11 to 12 is the viewing, and 12 to 1 is in a service at Brooks Brothers Funeral Home in St. Paul. Y'all heard of that, right? Yeah. Over on Concordia or something like that. And we're going to try to go. I know that's a hard, it's a tough timetable for people who are working, but we're going to try as many people as we can, and we're going to talk about this more later when we get a little bigger, but that's what's up. Anybody want to say anything? Or?
Well, you know, I was thinking about what you just said about the domestics, and I know it's not just a woman, but just another, you know, a guy too.
Yeah, right.
You know, and with Marcus, it was a guy. With Lonzo, it was a guy, and with Lonnie, it was a guy. Normally we talk about it from a guy, female type of deal, but now we know, right, that it's just as deadly with other guys, and you know, just as consequential with other guys. But what I noticed though is that alcohol was involved in two other incidents. Marcus also was a heavy drinker,
Yes.
you know, and we love Marcus, right? Duvall had a special relationship with Marcus. I did too, right? Marcus would call me all the way from, Iowa, Tennessee, wherever he was, right? You know, and, so I just, and Eric was saying earlier that, and for him, all of it is bad. The illegal drugs, the legal kind, like alcohol, and you know what I'm saying, and it just, man, it's a sad thing, man. It's a hard thing, you know. Just, I don't know, man. I really ain't got much to say on that. Just a terrible thing.
It's a terrible thing.
It seems to me, like, and being willing to talk about it, for me, if I was in that life, drinking and drugging, and I went to prison when I was 45 years old, and after I got in prison, I felt crazy as heck with all of the young guys. I was like, man, I didn't went this long, and this is where my life got me. So that was part of my transformation, and that's what got me out of that life. That was the beginning. Prison was the beginning. 45 was my one. It's new birth. So, taking all the stuff and taking this particular class really solidified a lot of stuff that where I was wrong at in life, and I had to admit to it because I understood everything that was being taught, but I was not doing the good. So, what I'm getting at is, in my deepest spirit, I had to come to the fact that I can no longer drink or do drugs of any kind because it took so long to get out of it. And now, to me, and from the stories that I hear like this, is my reminder of why. And I've got it with people in this group who I thought was doing well, because I sit back and I've always listened to, especially the guys come in, I just listen. I remember Duvall when and me and you got out around the same time when I first met Willie, Nate down there. I remember some stuff, and I remember the struggle. I identified with the struggle, and then watched everybody blossom from coming out of prison with nothing, basically. And that prison is a reminder of my old life. So for me to do anything that I used to do in that old life, except drive dump truck, it was bad. So it's deep in me now to it's not even a second thought to drink. I never thought I would be sober, y'all. Never. I came to the point that I was going to be a professional crack smoker. Ain't that crazy? I told myself that. I guess this is what I'm going to do. Man, are you kidding me?
Right. That drug is powerful. It'll make you say things,
but this kind of thing, and I remember him because he was always smiling, and he was getting jobs, and he was doing good. He was doing well. Now this is coming out of the penitentiary. We came out the mud hole already. So so I cannot forget that mud hole, man, or I'm in trouble. I cannot forget it. So I stay surrounded by my brothers. I get fed, I get taught, I watch, I listen, and I do what I can do to help.
That's right.
Otherwise, I'm done. I already know it.
That's gonna give some dap right there.
Yeah, that's right.
That was well said, and I love this particular picture of Ronnie in the middle, right here, and then the one of him just standing right here, just mellow, because he just had a mellow disposition.
That's how he was.
He just was really laid back dude, yeah.
Yep. Super laid back.
Yeah, and so, and then the total, the absolute violence, drunken violence, which, you know, to have his life taken in such a vicious way, it just doesn't seem right. But I'll tell you something else that I told you a long time ago to share with the rest of the group. Something about group when people drop completely off. I mean, completely off. They're always in crisis. It's never been the other way. Like, oh yeah, I'm great. I've been great. 99%. It's a crisis. And so, but the part that I want to share about that, somebody got to go pick up Isaac now on the corner of Hennepin and 30s right there, right now.
I'll go get it.
Okay, thank you. There's one point that I want to say though before you leave out is, see, sometimes in group, you know, that whole notion of shame, you know, you don't want to come to group because, you know, you don't want to be ashamed. Ain't nobody in here the police.
Right.
The police are not in here. As a matter of fact, this is where somebody in this table, around this table, is going to be able to help you deal with your issue. But there's a piece of it, and my wife really had to talk with me about this. There's a piece of this whole dynamic of group and family, pop family, that makes us don't want to present ourselves to each other when we wrong. And that shame is what you take with you back out there in them streets. And sometimes that shame was what started us to the streets even as little. So, you know, we just have to realize, even though sometimes you in here, you know, somebody got grouped or we was just up here, you know, it was hot for you that night or something like that. But it's love though. Nobody is trying to hurt you in here or put you down. Sometimes you need a good talking to.
Oh, you want to get it?
20's getting.
I don't hear nobody in here. And ain't nobody, you gotta come on and get your talking to, whatever that is, and then let that be what it is and keep it moving. But you don't have to, don't feel ashamed about coming into your own group and your own spot. But you created an atmosphere for your health and wellness. I don't know if that made enough sense. Hey, what's up?
Made a lot of sense.
So anyway, that was, we're gonna visit this again a little bit later as time goes on. I think that Wayne did, what was the mom called here or you called her or what happened?
So I called the funeral home to verify that's where it was going to be. And the funeral home owner goes to church with the mom and said, do we want your number?
And so you just got her number on your own?
Yeah.
Well, that was good. And I will call her, but I haven't called her yet. But, you know, I don't know, we probably end up taking up a little collection, you know. Not right now, but we, you know, try to help them do something. I don't know what, you know, the man is gone. He left them kids, he got his
Baby on the way.
kids and baby on the way. So anyway, we got a guest here tonight, Mr. Ed. Looked like somebody soulful taught him how to eat chicken. Look how he did it. Yeah, give it a hand. Yeah, that's one of the ways we know if you got soul or not. You know. But why don't you introduce
Yeah, I met Ed a couple weeks ago. He just blew my mind, man, because he was talking about lobbying, you know, and I always had this feeling about lobbyists that had to have all this money.
Yeah.
And so we was kind of talking about how we can kind of like put some safeguards on the system. And he said, yes, I lobby, and you know, there's ways that, you know, that you can do that. I guess I'll mess it up if I keep talking, because I don't really understand it. But I'll let my man take it over from there.
Okay, Ed, you want to share?
Sure. So, I guess I'll let you know how I got into lobbying in the first place.
Okay.
It was out in Seattle. I was doing ethnic studies. So I'm Mexican, and I used to teach Chicano studies to high school and middle school students. And what happened was the organization that I worked for, they really liked my ability to give speeches. So they invited me out to start doing speeches primarily on gerrymandering and getting rid of gerrymandering, or rather allowing people from their own communities to draw up their own districts instead. So I got to give a speech to the Senate Majority Leader of Washington, and that's kind of how I got into it. So I just moved back to Minnesota 8 months ago, probably about that. And so to be a lobbyist, I think in Minnesota you have to make $3,000 a year, which really isn't that much. So it can be a side job, and that's kind of the way I do it. I mean, of course, if you're doing lobbying for groups like oil companies and things like that, then you're making a lot of money really quickly, and you're also not helping anyone except for a few people get richer. I, on the other hand, do the exact opposite, which is going to basically lobbying on a much lower level, and usually it'll be things like, right now I'm not getting paid for any particular lobbying that I'm doing, but like I've been working on the driver's licenses for all. So that's a Latino, the driver's licenses, the way it works is that they're actually set up so that if you're undocumented, you can't get a driver's license in the state of Minnesota. So what I've been doing is I've been meeting with politicians, representatives, senators, and I talk to them and tell them, hey, you know, like there's a lot more that goes into it than just whether or not they're documented or not, whether your own prejudices towards the Latino community exist or not. Really what it comes down to is being able to help them any way you can. It does depend on who you're talking about. So the Republicans really like to talk money. The Democrats really like to talk humanism. That's one of the things you have to know. And now, actually I am getting paid for one of them. So the other thing I do is I work with a Latino-based farmers co-op. So what we do is we help Latinos be able to get into local markets, being able to bring organic produce into the Twin Cities, primarily the Twin Cities. We do a little bit in YZ, I guess, but anyway. So the thing is, there's a bill right now called Farm to School, and in that bill, what we're doing is we want to be able to get them to pass a $2 million budget, put specifically for schools to buy local produce and being able to bring it into the schools. That one, I probably made something like $200, $300. It's the beginning of the year, so like I'm telling you, like you have to hit the $3,000 mark to be a lobbyist. But you can do it really slowly over time. You just have to find groups that are willing to pay you. So that's really what it comes down to, and you just have to know your audience. So the way I did it here in Minnesota was I started going to a whole bunch of events, meeting a whole bunch of politicians. This was right before and after the blue wave, so after everyone won office. Among some of them that I have good relations with, primarily the Latino ones, Aisha Gomez, Mariani. It's usually people of color that I tend to go to because, I mean, you know, you stay with it anyway, right? So like, yeah, so those are the people I reach out to whenever I want a bill that I'm supporting, that I want to have it passed. And really anyone can do lobbying so long as you can start building these relationships with representatives, with senators. If you can get to the governor, that's great. But that's really what it is that I do. And among them is like the technical violations that I've been working with on IWOC. Again, not making any cash off of that. That's really what it is you have to go out, you find things that you really truly believe in, and you fight for them. So
Give him a hand for that. Let me tell you why I said that, because, you know, to be quite honest with you, I don't understand lobbying. I guess I have an educated guess about it, but that was really helpful to me, just to hear how it's done at some kind of a grassroots place. The fact that you would be lobbying for something that was maybe birthed in this room, no incarceration for technical violations, is where we're coming from. And everybody in here is a returnee. So we've lost a lot of guys. About 70% of all the men who come back to POP stay free. 26% who lose to technical violations, and that's a huge number for us and or around the state. And about 3% of our guys go back to a new crime who have been here 34 weeks or more. It's kind of our threshold. If you cross 34 weeks in 1 year, no particular order, somehow that also equates to you becoming a part of the 70%. Make sense? So, the technical violations piece, we started that in here because this is where we're losing guys. The argument has got to be tied to prison safety. Because prison safety is what the Republicans will talk about, right? How do we keep these guards safe? And basically what they're talking about is giving prisons more money for safety, but don't quite understand, what all of that is going to mean in the shakeout. The truth of the matter is the department is struggling with bringing on anybody. Nobody will want to work for them now. Because of this incident, nobody wants to work for them. So the undergirding is that guards are overworked. They're working a lot of hours. They're getting money. They're working a lot of hours, but that's wearing on people's nerves. And, that creates the atmosphere for drama between COs and inmates. So that's a struggle right now that we're dealing with. If we can tie the fact that we can help alleviate that by reducing by 1/3 the overall prison population, about 1/3 of those are returnees for not having committed a new crime. And that is the dynamic that we're really dealing with, tying no incarceration for technical violations with also reducing the population size of the prisons takes off pressure on double bumps. When I first started, it was single.
Tony's trying to find out right now. Has he got the phone?
Yeah, here's his number. Just,
For the recent calls?
here's his number right here.
Yeah, Tony. Yep.
That's his number. And so, anyway, I'm just trying to, kind of give you our posture here on that. So I like what you're sharing, and it's good to have you. Philip was giving us
what kind of intrigued me, I know Will had mentioned like a few months ago how, we need to have, these people that safeguard these pumps. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but what he said was that they can introduce bills that is included in the lobby, different bills, when you petition these politicians, Can you kind of explain how that works a little bit?
Sure. So what it is you find a law. It just has to be able to go in accordance with state law, and not like the actual law already in place, but rather the Constitution. So long as it doesn't go against the state constitution, you can write any law, pretty much. So for something like this, for instance, you have to find a representative and you have to find a senator at the state level, not federal. So there's two levels. There's the federal level and there's the state level. Here, right now, I think it's 67 senators, and I don't remember how many representatives, but it's up in hundreds. So it's a lot easier to find a representative. What you want is you find a representative who will then introduce your bill into the House, and on the representative side it's called House Files, and on the Senate side it's called Senate Files. You find one in each level, and they take your bill, they'll introduce it, they'll have hearings, and hopefully it's able to get into the actual, people are able to actually vote on it. And that's really what it is. So for something like this, and I haven't looked at the exact law for technical violations, but you just say something along the lines of, maybe even banning technical violations altogether, which probably won't go too far, so you have to start looking at different things that you want to ban. All right, well, let's say smoking weed, for instance. Let's get rid of smoking weed. Let's make sure that that's not included as a technical violation. All right, so you find a senator and a representative who are willing to introduce your bill specifically on getting rid of smoking weed as a technical violation. And you can go down the list that way. Another one would be drinking, for instance. Anything like that that can cause problems or cause technical violations, issues with your parole officers, like that type of thing. That's really what I think that's probably the best route. That's probably the easiest route to go through. But yeah, so.
Can I just ask a question?
No, go ahead. So introduce yourself.
I'm Jo Erickson. I'm actually a journalist who works in the Twin Cities, and I've got a podcast coming out on NPR every Thursday, every 2 weeks, at 11 o'clock, listening to the Kansas stories. And Terry will be on one of them very shortly. So I have one question. When you talk about a bill, you make it sound very easy to write a bill. And I know as a journalist, I cover state politics, and their bills have millions of clauses. It's a very complex thing. So would a group like this need to join something like ACLU to help them put, and what would be the difference? So if ACLU got involved and say, hey, technical violations, I can see the Constitution where I can use it, use part of the Constitution to prove that, hey, technical violations is a problem. What's the difference between yourself and ACLU doing that kind of thing?
Yeah, so American Civil Liberties Union. What the ACLU will do is they'll look at it from a legal perspective. So for instance, let's say that there is a technical violation that happened, and either it was gained illegally or something along those lines. I don't know the exact details of how it works, the technical violation parts of it actually work when it comes to like the parole officers, like what kind of searches they can do, search and seizures, that kind of stuff, I don't know. But let's say that somehow they get information on a prisoner or on someone who's out. And the way they got that information was acquired illegally. The ACLU will then sue on behalf of that person. They'll sue whoever violated that. And that's another way to make a law happen, where the idea is then it hits the first level. There's an appellate if the state decides to go through with that, and then finally it can be chosen by the Supreme Court, the state Supreme Court, to look at that law in particular. So what they'll do is they'll then go through the court system versus actual hearings versus the political process.
I'm going to cut you real short. I'm just going to say, how did they get a bill together? How do you write a bill? You say it's, how do you do that?
So I would start by looking for a policy advisor, someone that actually has written bills in the past. So the whole point with the clauses is that bills don't have to be incredibly long clauses either. The only thing is that they have to work in conjunction with other bills, and that's where the issue pops up. So that's when you actually do want a policy advisor who can look at the bill and say, hey, you know what? This doesn't go with this article of this law, so we have to change it here. Or we have to try and change that law too. That's where it gets complicated.
Right. So let me just tell you, and so Joe, just so you know, so we do have a relationship with ACLU, and we're also trying to work our agenda from that perspective. But I think this is important, Ed, to explain to us in some ways, in understandable terms, how we go about this, or how you go about this, or how you could be a representative in some ways, and already are doing this through EWALK, which is also kind of partnering with us around this whole notion of no technical violations for incarceration. So we got a few irons going, and kind of what we're doing now is just kind of helping you kind of see a little bit more about who we are, and then being able to hear a little bit about yourself, and get an idea about how we proceed, you know what I mean, down the line. I do, to your point though, I have never written a bill, but I think I'm certainly capable of it, and I wonder, you know, to your question, I mean, it may be that we need to actually draft something for ourselves that speaks authentically from where we are, and then put our partners to work, as well as, you know, whatever else. That it may come to that, you know what I mean? I don't know. I might be, to be quite honest with you, I might be waiting for somebody else to pop out from somebody else, and then if that don't work, then, you know, whatever, you know. So you know, that's kind of how, you know, where I'm at with it. But I just wanted us to be talking about this stuff and understanding what we got to do here to get some of this stuff done. And I'll give you an interesting example. You know, Kevin McGee, we lost Kevin to technical violation twice. He didn't do anything to go back to prison for either time. But, you know, then we were trying to get his case as a part of these test cases that we are working on. So, you know, and we were trying to contact him, and, you know, Kevin was being all contrary about, you know, he's mad because he's locked up. You know, well, I don't know what, you know, I can't work magic, you know what I mean? So he was offended that we were trying to continue to fight on his behalf and beyond him. So and I'm giving you that to say that there's all these little dynamics, issues that we have to deal with in some ways along the way. It gets bumpy, you know what I mean? And that's just one small example of it. But I do think we got momentum going on this, and that in some ways the commissioner who came and visited us here, Commissioner Sam, huh? No, the commissioner. No, the Henry County Commissioner Irene Fernando, her and her office, you know, they have kind of become allies here, and, you know, and so forth and so on, and so there is some expertise that we could pull on from that. You get what I mean? So we got to figure out how to make it work for us. But Ed, I'm encouraged by you, encouraged by your efforts to be supportive and help. This is a huge thing. So give Ed some love there. Go ahead.
When you say you need to make a law to make sure it pass for the technical violation, right? Why don't you put in, okay, about people's going back to prison, that takes the safety out, like Pop was saying. Because if you don't have a lot of people's in there, you can be able to deal with probably like 2,000. When they overflow, it's like 4,000 or something in there. So is there some kind of way you can make something in that law where you can show that if they didn't have 4,000, 3,000 peoples in there, it'd be more safer, and then the guards can work it out?
Yeah, so early on in the process, after the bill's been introduced, there's hearings. And it's in those hearings where they'll bring in testimonies and people to testify on behalf of the bill. And that's when you bring that up. So you'd sit in front of a committee.
But would that be something you can take in there to them?
Yeah.
To make sure that it happened, you know what I mean? Because if you ain't got nothing to show, you
So
can't.
Cal, so just so we know, so he really is a lobbyist. So we all of us have to put something together, and then he is the person who tries to drive that agenda on down the line. So what you're suggesting is good, and that's part of what whoever we ultimately are, that puts a bill together. That's our responsibility.
Right.
So that you're right on the right piece, but I mean it's. So his thing is taking it and driving it somewhere and finding support, trying to get, but it's all, we're all working on the same team, and I appreciate meeting you. Philip has been trying to tell me about you, and so I'm glad, to meet you. We're here every Tuesday night, and I got a feeling that we'll, be seeing more of each other and more of you. And, you're certainly welcome here. Thank you so much. And, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, and I got a question. So, now, just so we're clear, the requirements to be a lobbyist, and you have to make over 3,000 throughout the course of a calendar year,
Yeah, I believe.
or is it in that same year? Is it from June or January to December, or when does that time start? The 12 months start?
So it is a calendar year, January 1st to December 31st. But
Okay.
the time when we're really making any of that money is during session. So like right now.
Right.
Right now is when you're really supposed to go out there.
Okay.
I mean, I have another job on top of this, so I'm
Right.
not doing it. I'm probably not going to meet that threshold this year. But
During
yeah.
session.
Yeah, so
And-
session.
How long does that last? What's the duration of that?
So in terms of the calendar year, it's January until May.
Okay.
Yeah.
What other requirements are there?
So some of the other requirements are things. It's really mostly meeting with politicians and going over the bill. So anything that you're able to bill in any way, shape, or form.
So anybody in this room could be a lobbyist.
Yeah.
And that's just being an advocate for an issue, right? That's all it is, right? Okay.
Those are good questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, those are
Thank
very good questions. Hello.
Hello, sorry, excuse my ladies.
So we're introduced, why don't you introduce them?
Hi, my name is Connie Rhodes. I'm the Executive Director of Restoration Incorporated.
Restoration Incorporated.
Uh-huh.
All right, good to meet you, Ms. Connie
Good
Rose.
to meet you,
Give Ms.
thank you.
Connie Rose a hand.
Thank you.
So colorful.
Springtime.
Do you care for a piece of chicken or something?
Oh, no, thank you.
So let's go to the acts of faith. That was great. Great discussion, great questions. Let's go to the acts of faith. Somebody with a strong voice, pick that up and let's go at it.
God is always capable of making something out of nothing. Minister Louis Farrakhan. The earth was formed without form and void. Genesis 1 and 2. Today is a multinational conglomerate. Remember when there was a void in my life? Seemed to be no way out, up. And then suddenly a way was clear. What about when I was down to my last dime and didn't know where the next one was coming from? It came from somewhere. When I was at my wit's end, the wolves was on my heels.
That's right.
And I had to reach the end of my rope. Somehow I rose above it and lived to talk, even to laugh about it. I may think I did it on my own, by myself, without help from anyone. But I didn't realize where the help was coming from. So the next time I find myself in need, ask, who can make something out of nothing?
Boy, that's good.
I know who can fulfill my needs.
Anybody who wants to take that, just jump in.
I want to do it, Bob, because you know what? I'm going through something right now about my car, but I got to have this faith because, like, I went in there for $1,800. Now it came up to $2,000. So it's working out because I'm having this faith. I checked my car. Remember I said something about checking my car? The credit thing, they said they'll give me $500. Then I got my little check coming, right? And then the little stuff I do right now, I put that little change aside too. So now, come April 1st, I'm hoping to have my rendezvous back. And my birthday on the 19th. So if I just be obedient, all this gonna work out. I don't know where I'm gonna get this other $1,500, but it's coming together because I've been doing the right thing. You know, and at the same time, you know, with this brother here, I'm just gonna speak on that because I didn't get a chance, but I met that brother when he was in Pop 2. And he seemed like he had a glow. You know, and the glow was he was gonna continue to try and maybe not go back to his old ways. Sometimes we all slip, but you got to shake that thing off like that goat do and bury it under your feet till you can jump back up out of something.
Boy, that's good.
You know, and I like that little brother because he always had a smile like, I'm home, I'm not going back that way. And that's what I'm working with. I'm home, I'm going through some trial, even on the 28th. I got a thing that I got to face, so I got to get ready for that. If they even say no, I can't come in the house. But I know with my man upstairs, and like where I'm at, I kind of like come to my senses now. I need to be away from that. But that was a trial that I had to go through. I done seen many people die since I've been here. That thing humbled me not to even come back, wanting to run out here looking for a woman. Or somebody that I might get involved with might switch me the other way. But it can happen, you never know. So when you meet somebody you think you're ready for, it'll just blow up in your face. So today, he's let me be humble, understanding I'm not ready for a woman, which everybody want one. I don't care who come out of prison and say they don't want no woman. I want one, but I'm not going to cross that boundary where she can either have something to say bad about me. But as soon as they do that, that's all these people need on me. But I've been asking the man upstairs to save me from my old ways. I don't need nobody to give me nothing. He's my provider, and he's doing it. And everybody in here, you brothers doing good, man. But we just got to remember, some things we can't do, and some things we can. And today, I'm just glad to see y'all, you know what I'm saying? Everybody that I seen last week, half of y'all still in. That makes me grow a little more. So with that, man, I just, you know, got my condolences for this man's family. I know where that place at over there in St. Paul, so I'm going to go to it. Because, you know, the more, like you say, the more us be around there, the more they see that he was heading in the right direction. But we got to keep coming back here. This worked for me. Just being here. Listen to something different.
That's good. Yeah, give him some love. Give him some love. Thank you, Chad. Yeah, it's good to see you, brother. You know, you have been struggling, but, you know, don't give up on yourself. You know, that's good. Somebody else jump in.
Well, we walk by faith and not by sight. We just trust in the Lord because, you know, he's already worked your destiny out. You don't never know what's going to happen tomorrow, but you just got to keep on going. And surround yourself with good people. Because, you know, those old birds of a feather flock together. Them pigeons love to fly. And, you know, we're equal, so we just have to stay together amongst each other. We can't do nothing but fly high.
Well, that's good. You know, And I think it's, hey, brother,
Hey.
sometimes, you know, we just, it's a tough thing, man. This thing is so tough. Somebody else jump into that. Somebody take it. Uh-oh.
So let's go.
I love it. Yeah, I do it in here. Come on, somebody else get in.
I'll say something about this. First of all, I started liking it so much that I bought the book.
The actual paper.
Yup. And I was talking to my wife, and I remember something Shane said a long time ago. He said, in order for marriages or something to work, it has to be deep. It has to be at the spiritual level. So I told my wife, I said, we're going to buy this book, and we're going to read it in the morning before you go to work, and we're going to elaborate on it just so we can stay connected in different areas and levels. And this is a topic of conversation. Just share, this is what I think, what you think, type thing. So I was just speaking on that this morning, and I was telling her, do you remember when we got together, did neither one of us have nothing? I said, remember when I had got a divorce and I paid everything before I left, made sure that household was good, but I wasn't really concerned about me. So where I am right now, I'm just appreciating where I'm at right now. But when I to make sure that household was good before I left, I don't know where the stuff I got came from. I mean, I reading it, and when I read this, oh, I know where it came from, but I didn't have, my place is fully furnished, everything new, it's gorgeous, I'm laid back, kicking it, everything is mellow, mom's good, food in the refrigerator, I ain't worried about nothing. And this is what I was talking about. I had to, and when I was reading this morning, I was like, wow, I remember when I didn't know where I was going, you know, I had to go out to renters. I mean, and I wanted to stay in places that had pools and saunas already in them. And if it had a management company, I had to present that felony. You know what I'm talking about? And everybody was cutting it down. I didn't spend not $1 for an application fee because I said, you know what? I'm gonna just ask you straight up. How do you feel about it? Is this a block for me to get in there? A management lady told me, call owners, people that own their places, and you'll probably have a better chance. And I did. Boom, I got a condo in Egan. But I was reading this, and this is what made me, what I said today, what I'm saying to you right now is what I said this morning to my wife as I read this. Wow, this is, it's amazing.
Look at God.
You know what I mean?
That's good. That's good. Woo, that's good. That's a good testimony, and I love hearing it too, brother. Somebody else jump in.
I got a comment on this here where it says, where you say you realize where help was coming from, you just don't know it. I'm by far one of the blessed guys that can walk from one job to the next in the drop of a dime and go and get hired. I kid you not, but I'm like a athlete that's a free agent. I put myself on the market, and I kid you not, God is so good. The company I work for now, I'm an independent contractor. I'm the boss. Now ain't no Billy or Tom barking over my shoulder talking about this, that, this, another. I get the contract, they send me to the place, I fulfill the order, write the ticket, I'm gone. So look how God worked out for me, just like the drop of a dime. And lo and behold, I met your daughter through an agency I went through, but I didn't get the employment through them, but I went through another networking with a pop guy. Lou Lee plugged me. Yes, and I went to them people, interviewed, boom. Dude took a resume, speaks volume. He said, man, say no more, you're hired. Boom, sent me on my first contract today. Paradise. I'm gonna speak this one out. I promise you all. I promise 2 years is better. 2 years is better. Did you hear what he said? Wait. You know, he described himself correctly though. I love that. But 2 years or better on this job as an independent contractor. Give him a hand out. Somebody else jump in. Come on now.
Let me say something about
Come on, say something. Say your name first.
DeAndre. You said it earlier. You said when guys don't come to group, something going on. I was out there messing up. Got locked up, violation. At my wit's end. I I mean, just messed up, just depressed. I said, man, again, couldn't go back. When I went for them people on the 21st, he said, man, this is your 15th violation. 15th.
Yeah.
He say, man, you and for the same thing every time, man, you know, get mine. He said, but that's what I'm gonna do, man. He said, I want you to go to Pop Group.
Wow.
I want you to go to Opportunity to Change. I want you to get a therapist because you know you've been gone a significant part of your life. And whether you want to believe it or not, they have mental issues and things going on. So attend those things, man. I've been on them. But yes, I don't think I made this happen.
HRU guy told you to go to Pop Group.
Because Tessa wrote in the thing. He said he said he's heard about y'all.
Oh yeah.
And he said I want you to go to them groups. He said because a lot of those guys do good.
Right.
So here I am. I was at my wit's end, and I know I didn't do it by myself.
Somebody give him some love for that. And you know, DeAndre, we need to just let's stop here for a minute and give us some feedback, man. And anybody got something to
Pops
share?
out.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say something to it. Well, I definitely know DeAndre. I'm laughing because that's not what I called him when I first met him.
Right.
And when I first heard him say his name, I was like, that's your name?
Yeah.
But you know, he's right. And when somebody else can tell you that, you know, it's a sign that is really right there in front of your face, but it's denial that keeps us from looking at it. You hurting yourself. And in order to stop hurting yourself, you have to do something different. We all know the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. We all been there, you know. But I believe that you can change. But you really have to change what it is that you don't want to change. It's something you don't want to change. And that's what keep getting you caught up.
Wow.
You know, we got a mutual friend, JJ. I don't know what it is, but y'all, you know. So, I mean, you can do it. You definitely can do it. Change what it is you don't want to change. That's the problem.
What would you say back to that?
I would say it definitely is. I've done everything for myself most of my life. So it is, I don't know why I done it. This is an excellent group. I love y'all. I hate when things happen to guys in these groups, man. It just, you know, it messes with me. It bugs me. But I can always give a person extremely good feedback and extremely good information.
Right.
But I never take it myself. I don't know how to ask for help.
Wow.
I don't know how to really follow these people's rules. Because I've been used to doing what I want to do all my life.
Wow.
And I figure, man, y'all got 20 years out of me. Leave me alone. But everybody got to give up power.
Amen.
I gave my power up when I did the things I did to get in this situation. And I got to do what these people tell me to do. That's kind of what I don't want to change. But that's kind of, it's insane because these months are adding up to a whole lot of years. I'm running right now because my mother's up here looking for me. My aunts,
So why you running?
Man, 'cause I don't want to, man, 'cause they finna, you know why I'm running, you know,
Shame, you just said it.
shame, and you know, them women, man, and I got a family full of women, man, they finna, and they already cutting deep. I don't even want to show you the Texas. I don't even tell them my address. But I gotta go pick my cousin up. So they said, go pick your cousin up. Go pick your cousin up from the bus. I gotta go pick her up. I gotta leave at 7:45. I gotta go pick her up at the mega bus. So that's the setup I'm gonna give her. Then I'm gonna give her all my family.
Wow,
We're
that
gonna
could be
sit down
helpful.
and
That could be helpful to you, man.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what you really need. You rebuking them, and it might be the love that you need. Listen to him grunting.
well, I don't know these women.
No, you're right. I mean, you know, but somebody else jump in. Hold on, Cal. Let somebody else who haven't gone and somebody else come in and speak with DeAndre about this, man.
That's what I want to do.
Oh, okay, son, but let somebody else talk who haven't said that.
Yeah,
I'll come back to you.
You know, I know you said it's day one you walked in the door. Ego is a mug, man. Not only that, that false pride will eat you up. I have a thing, I'm independent myself. I hate to ask for help.
That's right.
But through them years, man, you included, you helped me to get through this bit. You know what I'm saying? It's not about you feeling less of a man because you ask for help. When you asking for help, those that know you that's in your circle, they know you need it. So they're gonna give you what you need. They're not gonna give you what you want, they're gonna give you what you need. And you know, as myself and a few other brothers, we're just gonna give it to you in the raw. And that's what you need. You need to get away from them people, man, that's not helping you. The people that's afraid to tell you about you. You need to let them go, because it's helping you stay stuck. I know it could be family, I know it could be your friend from childhood, but you gotta let them go, man. You done did all these years. Who been coming to see you? Who been writing? Who been sending you money? Who been giving you an address when they move? Who really been there? Them people that really been there, man, is the people that you're supposed to embrace. Everybody else, let them go. They don't mean nothing to you. They don't care nothing about you. They showing you every day. Stop allowing people, man, to use you, man. You good dude, man. Wow. Stop allowing people to use you, man. And asking for help, man, is giving you the information that you just don't have. Ain't nothing wrong with learning something new, man, because your way don't work. My way don't work. You know, my daughter, she's the one that hit me so cold in the face, like when I was 16 years into my bit. She's like, Dad, if you keep going to the hole, you ain't never coming home. That's cold reality. I wasn't thinking about coming home anyway with my situation. You know, really, wow, I wanted to do me every day. Not taking nothing, not listening to nobody. Wow. You gotta let that go, man. You're not in the joint no more, man. You out. Wow. You're a free man. Embrace that. Enjoy that. Every day I enjoy that. I enjoy it because I remember when we was in B's and B West and doing the dum-dum every day. You know what I'm saying, man? Let that go. If you want to help them brothers that's in there doing the dum-dum, you got to do you. You got to live for you, man. You got to show them, man, that there's another way, man, that this is doable. You got to get out of that hopeless frame of mind, man, where you like, I can't do this because I'm used to this. No, you ain't used to the prison, man. Come on. You learned a lifestyle that wasn't no good, which allowed you to put yourself in the position that's where you was at, man. And you gotta look at that whole piece, man. You gotta look at all them people, man, who helped destroy your life, man. let it go. You can do this, man. I done showed you I'm doing it. And you know how I used to be. Every day. All day. People see me coming, they go in another cell. They don't even want to hear my mouth.
Okay.
Because they know what I'm doing. I'm acting out and I'm performing.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know? So, man, just, you can do this, man.
That's deep. Let's just give some love. Give some good love. Anybody else?
Yeah, I got something,
Okay.
Pop.
Go ahead and then carry on.
So, DeAndre, I struggle with chemical dependency and criminality. And the one thing that was built for me was a structure. And you described the structure that they built for you. And the one thing for myself, I added to that was more structure. You know, I said to myself, well, I'm gonna go to a meeting because that's what I want to do for myself. Listen to other men in their struggles to see what I can get from that or what I can learn from their experiences, you know, and put that in my mind. This is what I do for myself. Another thing is going to somebody that can support you, somebody that you can talk to, you know, and, you know, be frank and honest with, somebody that knows you. You know, that's something that's really important for myself. I got support that, for me, are really vital for my existence out here right now. And I've been going to them daily, you know, and just be honest with yourself. You know yourself better than yourself. You know when you're gonna get higher and if you're not gonna get high. You know, the choice is yours. So, like I said, they built structure for you, but put more structure behind that so they can see that you're really willing to work that. That's all I got.
That's good. That's good.
Wow.
But this is hard, but it's love. It's all love, man. I love what everybody's saying, man. You just seem like, don't it seem like he just belong in this chair?
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Okay. You know, he always, when he's here, he's in this chair.
Yeah.
It seems
Every
like,
time.
you know what I mean? It just seems like he belongs here. And we wish you would just quit clowning and giving your seat up to somebody else. You know, I'm believing that. You, Will, you got something?
Yeah, I just, you know, you said something earlier. You said, man, you know, I done gave these folks, you know, all these years, man, and what else they want? What do just leave me alone? I think the question is, what do you want? You know, so when I was going through what I was going through, you know, and and for those who don't know, I served 24 years, and I was very prideful, right? And you know, I really never lost all of that. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't feel like they could sentence me to prison and tell me how to do my time too. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't, you know, you wasn't gonna tell me I had life and then think that I was gonna let you dictate to me how I do it.
Come on now.
I mean, I'm just being honest with you, man. I mean, I did it the way I wanted to do it, right? So, I'm saying this to you that I didn't do it, you know, when I transformed, when I changed, I didn't do it for them. Because I would do nothing for them.
Come on now.
Because just like you, I never thought they had my best interest at heart, right? The system reinforced that fact to me, right? But it wasn't about what they wanted. It was what I wanted, right? And then once I embraced and adopted my own standards, that's what I aimed for. See what I'm saying? And you know, I know you've been doing it by yourself for a long time, right? But that's one of the reasons why you're not where you want to be, you know? And that's one of the reasons why you're not satisfied with yourself, your life, and you keep just falling into the same mistakes over and over again because you've been trying to do it by yourself and apparently you don't have all the answers. Okay? And I was there, we all was there, you know what I'm saying? And now we here together, right, receiving and sharing the answers with each other, right? Now, you can't get that if you're not here. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Pops is talking about, man. This is your chair. You should be here, right? Man, it's all love.
Yeah, wow.
Dynamite. All I needed to hear was when I first started coming to Pop Group and in prison when I was taking the class, Pop was talking about this group, but I'm still in prison. We're talking about this group. I'll never forget it, as long as ever. He said, people that come to the Pop Group don't go back to prison. I'm sitting here right now, 8 years later, 9 years later. I'm always be here because I identified, I'm not going to prison. I'll go.
Right.
I mean, I just kept it simple for me. I keep all this life simple.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And every time I stop.
And so
it's true. Stay in.
So, we got some ladies in the room. Love them. And then this is a guess. I'm not going.
I can step out.
No, you have to. No, you can't. Because I don't want to get at something. Everybody here grown. We talk about grown folks stuff. Now this is what I don't know why this is where what I see. I see in one of them little room, little TV, maybe a bed, maybe not, kind of in this little tiny existence. And, being obedient, maybe for the wrong reasons. Look at me though. And after a time, obedience for the wrong reasons, it becomes boring. And it seems like you're pulling a very heavy weight. Right? Then the thought comes, I want to feel different than I feel right now. Often, for us, two things will make us feel different. It's sex and getting high. And I'm cleaning this up because the ladies are here tonight. But the sex piece is a piece. Huh?
Yeah, no question.
It's for all of us. It's a part of our humanity.
Right.
You get it? And so it looked to me like sometimes when you haven't built these relationships, there's nobody, you're not in a relationship, you don't have nobody, then you're left with, our sisters who are working. They want to get high and have a couple dollars on top of it. I don't hear nobody in the church. And then, in order, sometimes, because all of this stuff, to get where you trying, because of pressure, the pressure of now performance and all these other things ties itself into the dynamic that was already there, and it's stressful, and then it makes to relax ourselves from the stressfulness of performance. Somebody say performance. Performance. Yeah, then we take on the drug or the chemical to move the pressure of performance off the table. I'm waiting for all the amens today.
That's real though.
Then we left, you know, after the act. Then we are left with the consequences of the behavior. I could say more, but I'm going to leave it at that for right now. But this is how I see it, and this is how when I see, whenever you get to that place, all these things working, you know, you get high and have sex. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I don't see nothing wrong with but you know you gotta do that in such a way where it works for everybody, and to do that we have to build a relationship. So let me I'm gonna go one step further than this, one step. And where do you have relationships? Where do you meet people? You know. Some people, you know, nowadays meet people online. You know, you know, this is amazing to me because I'm not from the online dating era. Right. I'm not from there, so for me, I think it's like a fairy tale. Right. But in a minute, yeah. Good. Well, thank you. Mike, but he's younger, and Mike's online. Give him he's online. Agent. No, that's called That's called click it. No. So see, look, now what you do, what I'm trying to say though, is but it's a way to meet people.
Right.
And so if it's a way to meet people without putting, you know, all of the criminality around the thing that you want to be beautiful, does that help anybody? Mm-hmm. And so that's one way. Another way is for you to just get out in the world, you know, go to church. Find you know, go to church and meet somebody. Now let me just tell you this. Son, you gotta stop coming late though. We're glad to have you. Give him a hand. Watch this. Watch this. Y'all don't want to hear this. But anything you want to do, anything, you don't never have to take it from nobody, because somebody out there wants to do it with you. I'm just trying to tell you the truth. Now, the trick to it is putting yourself in position to meet the person. I don't care what it is you want to do. If you want to get on the roof, and you know what you did, somebody do it with you. You ain't got to take nothing. You ain't got to take nothing from nobody. You know. What you but you ain't got to take nothing. I'm gonna tell you now. You think this is that you know you all that in the bag of chips. But man, they got some people out there got 2 or 3 bags of chips. Okay, beyond them chips you eat, man. Salt and sour. Right, and put some salsa and dip on it. But I'm just telling you now, if you just would be paying, put yourself out in these positions to meet and mingle. You know, you don't have to, you know, because I see you getting stuck, going back, you come here, then you go right back to the little spot, and there it is, the spot. It's like a sale. And it will be it'll be, wait a minute, it'll be a sale unless you make it a house. You have to make it a house. You have to decide, no, this ain't no sale, this is my house. Pick that up over there, clean that stuff up. Okay. Open up the window and bring some air to the place.
Fresh air.
Yeah. I might be off track there, but somehow, something just tell me that this thing right here is that thing. I just want you to be liberated from it. I don't want you to think that you've been operating incognito. Nobody don't get it. I think we get it pretty clearly. And the idea here is that, you know, we can get over that. Sure can. That's a trap not big enough to hold you. I'm gonna wait for all the amens to die down. But,
Amen.
you know, I tell you what, in here, man, you know, we got to love on each other in here and be for real about it. Look at the world. Doug, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm Doug. What I see, just to add to what you said, Pops, is that what I learned in class is that we can all go out and, you know, find sex. We can all go out and find, you know, the drugs. You know, it's not that hard. But you know, the thing of sitting at home and, you know, being bored is what you said, Pop, in class, but I remember, it's the chase.
Yeah.
It's the chase.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's the women, the drugs, or, you know, the cash. It's always gonna be there. We gotta change our thinking as to, there's more to life than just that. You know, being content with what you're doing, be okay with, you know, going to church, find people that you can relate to more for, you know, the spiritual part of it, or activities, sober activities. You know, there's all kinds of groups, you know, where you can go to movies, you can go to, you know, go bowling, but you just got to take that first leap of faith, that step of faith. And, you know, I love coming here because I don't feel judged for anything that I say, and all the feedback that I get, not only for everybody, I take it all to heart.
That's right.
And, you know, I think if you find sober groups for singles, you know, it's just so much getting out of the house and ending that boredom.
Wow.
Right.
That was great.
You know, Pop, I wanted to say something while you was talking to DeAndre. You know, and it's in connection with what you were saying about we got, you know, learning to love on, you know, each other. I know me, myself, I'm willing to, because you said it's hard for you to reach out and ask for help. You know, I'm willing to, you know what I'm saying, call you, brother, how you doing today? What's going on with you? How you feeling? You know, is anything all right? You know, just, you know, checking in with you just to make sure everything is okay. Because if I say I love you like I love you, why wouldn't I call to check on you? You know what I'm saying? Right. I mean, that's what pop guys do.
Right.
You know, I mean, me and Eric, you know, used to, you know, call each other every day. The man still sends me, you know, religious messages every morning, you know what I'm saying, that I read.
Yeah.
So this has been an ongoing lifetime, you know, bonding friendship thing.
It started here.
You know what I'm
Started right
saying?
in this room.
Right.
That's right.
So, you know, I mean, it's something that, you know what I'm saying, not only me, but everybody else should be willing to do to help the brother in need. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes a phone call can change a person's thought from when they getting ready to do something. You know, like, you know what? I don't even got to do that. My brother just called.
That's true.
Good.
That's true. Pat, well, you know, then why don't you do that then?
I am.
You know, and be hollering at D, because, you know, we really don't want him going back no more. 15 times. You know. And these have been technical violations all the time. You know, how he was high, he failed. You know, do you know what? This dude's crime was like 20 years ago. 25 years ago. They keep sending them back for.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, that to me is a crime on top of a crime.
That's
Why you still got him on why is he still a level 3? He ain't never one time had
exactly.
You know what I mean? And this is back to the whole technical violation piece, why we're talking about what we're talking about. And DeAndre's a lot of love, man. You know, you got that chair, man. We glad to have you in it. Give him some love, man. Give him I just wanted to quickly, we're going to let our guests say a little something to us. This is what came out. And here go little Patrick right on the front page, you know. Oh, that boy's a ham sandwich boy, I'm going to tell you.
He really is.
I'm going to tell you. But here, Phil is in deep contemplation. This is front page Phil, deep contemplation. Nice. Yeah, and then in the middle section, you had, you know, your boy, and then there's Will back there. Eric is in it.
Somebody texted me and told me they saw me in that paper.
Yeah, you in it. You in it. And that's Eric and Will. That's your brother right there in it. And Woody in it. Yeah, you in the paper, baby. Yeah, just in case they try to look for you, you know how they do. On CSC, they zero in on and make the image all clear and everything.
For a good reason.
You know, but I just want to say to you that I'm gonna tell you something, man. What happened? Anybody didn't see? I'm gonna just tell you. So last night we went into Lino. And brother, I got Keith, Gerby, John, Nemo, Dwight Bowers.
Dwight Bowers?
Yeah. Dwight Bowers. Dwight is close, man. He's close.
Very nice.
And nice.
Very nice.
And so and I got another one too, the Lifers, and then, you know, a lot of the other brothers. But when Marvin and I came in there last night, them brothers had that article copied out, photocopied out, was handing it out at the door. The student teacher was handing it out at the door. The article had spread all through the prison.
Wow.
You know, and I'm sure I'll be in Rush tomorrow night, I'm sure we're going to find the same thing to be true. Now, what's making me bring that up is this is the kind of hope, and man, these guys were jacked when they started reading about POP and having these dialogues with the commissioner about lifers or about this or that.
Right.
These guys were jacked, man. I mean, super jacked that somebody didn't forget about it. It wasn't being forgot about, you know, on the strip. And man, it was amazing, man. I said, man, I mean, these guys, they went on for 15 to 20 minutes just about this, asking questions and, you know, la-di-da. Marvin kind of handled it. But I'm going to tell you, man, some of what you guys are doing out here is having a powerful, powerful impact on guys on their daily walk. Now, wait a minute, because just in case you don't think, you don't get what I mean, here's somebody there for, you know, 28, 29 years. And not getting no letters. You know, nobody's sending them nothing. But they feeling like somebody's remembering them. These guys were jacked, man. It was pretty amazing to see that and to feel that feeling. So to all those who were present for the commissioner, his visit here, I'm certainly won't be the last one.
Right.
The last commissioner took a long time to get here, but he got here.
Yeah.
This commissioner was here within 35 days of getting the job.
Right.
So we're making a little progress there.
Right.
And then Will got a storyline in there. They quoted Will and his storyline in there, and you know, this and that, and it's pretty cool. So I just wanted to say that, and if you want to see it, you know, it's there. Isaac, you didn't hear us talk about one of our brothers. This is Ronnie Baker. Ronnie's got stabbed to death over this last week. Yeah. And
man.
So sister, we want to meet you, and you want you, Dion. Hey, are you all right, boy? You straight? You working? Of course. Give Leon a big hand. You got your driver's license?
Hey, Pops, I got this intervention, man.
You got to go with the
family? Yeah, with the family.
Okay. All right. Oh, give Deandre some love. Yeah.
Before you leave, you helped me stay here, bro. When he was in the group, he did my paperwork with me. That's why I'm still here.
Did you hear what he said?
I heard it, yeah. You know, he know me, Matt, Isaac, all the brothers know me. But when he helped me got real with being able to put it down right.
Yeah, because you helped him graduate.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, I'm still here. DeAndre, you be all right, my brother. I know you got a good heart, bro.
You do got a good heart.
All right?
Yeah. I will, bro.
Be encouraged.
Well, sister, it's on you. Introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you...
Well, my name is Connie Rhodes. Like I said, I'm the Executive Director of Restoration Incorporated. Restoration Incorporated is a faith-based human service agency that serves the Twin Cities area. I'm here because one Phil invited me, and I didn't know Brother Eric was here. And but let me just say this: this is powerful to see men together, and the spirit that's in here of overcoming is really great, and I really I'm just honored to be in your space. So don't ever think that because you've been to jail or you've had a hard time or whatever that limits the box that God has for you. God doesn't have you in a box. So you're outside. Even being in this group is being outside of the box. So for me to come in and see that is just uplifting for me. So one of the things that I do, we have four pillars. One is called side-by-side mentoring, and if you all know Robert Gundy, who comes here sometimes, I think. He spearheads that, but we work with African American young men, many who've gone through trauma, and we have a mentoring track for them. And then we have another program that's called Vision Ventures, and that's for people who want to start their own business. We partner them with SCORE and another Women's Ventures, which is another group that does that. And then we have another program that's called Family Forward, and that's why I work with moms and families who are going through some sort of tragedy, some sort of trauma, helping them come up with a vision statement for their family, how they overcome the trauma, for example, of their loved one being in prison or maybe being homeless. And then the last program is called Culturally Competent Consulting, and that's where I go out in the world and I do trainings around cultural competencies, and I do Peace Circle. I'm a circle keeper, so I do circles across the city, put on different events, and I take that money that I make from that, put it into this program so we can help as many people as we can. I just have some of our, from this year, 2018 in review, if anybody wants to take a look at it. So pretty much what we do is we just try to help the community. This is something that God gave me 15 years ago. I was too scared to do it, so when you're talking about faith, I worked for somebody else for a long time. And then when I moved here to Minnesota, God was saying, this is the time for you to stand in the gap. And so I just went out on faith and started Restoration Inc. about in 2015, so about 4 years ago.
Give her a little hand.
So on this upcoming Saturday, we're going to have Hope Fest, Restoring Hope Fest over on the Harold Mazzell YMCA, the Youth YMCA on Broadway. You all are welcome to come. We are really just trying to restore hope with our young people.
Wow.
It's for Youth Violence Prevention Week, which is a national week. Last year I had an event of September 29th at the same place, but we had more money last time. So this time I'm working on a smaller budget, but everybody's still welcome to come out. And pretty much that's where I am. I'm just glad to be here. Want to partner with you guys in any way that we can. Like I said, I have people who run men. You know, this is a men's group, right? And so, you know, I have men who run circles with me. So if you all need a circle ran or whatever, a healing circle, we do healing circles, restorative justice circles, we do talking circles, we do conflict resolution circles.
Sure. And where were you at before here? Before you moved to Minnesota?
I was from Chicago.
From Chicago. And what was you doing in Chicago?
In Chicago, I was working for an agency called Build Incorporated, and it's a youth serving organization. And I help write a curriculum that's used here in Minnesota called the Bill's Youth Violence Prevention Curriculum. And it's used here.
So you've been at this a while.
Yeah, about 25 years.
And tell everybody your name again.
Connie.
This
Connie
is
Rose.
Miss Miss Connie Rose. And so just give another hand for coming by. We got, one second, son. We got a few pop guys who, we have some houses right across the street from the YMCA. So, you know, some of you guys can walk over and peek in on that. Go ahead, son.
You said that you did restorative justice and everything else, and when I was in, I was co-facilitating for 3 years for restorative justice.
Okay.
But do you talk in circle, conflict resolution, everything else? Do you go back to Cape Prentice principles?
I go by, I do a mixture of the Native American and African traditions.
Okay.
So I mix the two.
Okay.
And come up with my own style.
Okay.
Doing it. But yeah, definitely, you know, if you're a circle keeper, I'd like to talk to you more about the work in case you want to keep going with it.
Right.
Yeah,
but yeah, so I'm glad to be here. I'm a member of ILLCC, Impact Living Christian Center, here in Minneapolis, and in Chicago. I'm a member of Morning View Word Church, which I was there 25 years, so it's very hard for me to
break away.
So
you miss it.
I do. I do.
And
So,
what's the church she's at now?
Temple Justice.
Yes.
Impact Living Christian Center.
Right.
Yeah, so that's pretty much everything in a nutshell.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I work, I have another resource.
Come on.
So I also do consulting for Emerge. You all know where Emerge is? Okay. So if you have anybody that's 18 to 24, I work with that program.
Okay.
But they do have jobs and resources for people older than 24.
I just sent you.
You just saw me today?
No.
Another day?
I'm part of Merge, so we
Oh.
had a big meeting up there recently.
You work at Second Chance, don't you?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. I'm sitting there looking.
So, well, you know, that's excellent. And I mean, you know, thank you for sharing all of that. And I clearly, you know, God has been moving you to breathe on us and be a blessing to your community. So thank you for that. It's a big thing. It matters. It's important.
Thank you.
Yeah, amen. So I'm gonna say that too. You know what we're gonna do though, just because it's 7:22, we still got time, so we're doing all right. But Will, your brother been over here at Turning Point now for about how long?
What, 2 months?
Yeah. Come on, son. Come on in. Been on the property for 2 months. May he all labor. Good day to have you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how it's going for you, and you know what's happening, and you know how things are.
Well, it's going all right. It's like some groups I be going to. Some of the facilitators, I don't get them, but some I do. Some is better groups like today. Spike was there today. He always in sight.
Yes, sir.
Like the older guy, the professor, like Move. He always in sight. When he came.
Right. Eric. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I be taking parts from different people. What I can use, I use what I can.
Yeah.
I throw it away.
That's right.
All right, I like that.
So. Well, he always on my heels.
The
ball guy. No, the ball guy behind.
Oh, yeah.
Get him.
The one in the paper, right? But I just want to say to you, man, since you first came, I think we didn't see you for the first couple of weeks, but you know, you got a gloom now though in your face. You know, like some fresh breath is in there, man, and you know, you look like you're alive. And, you know, it's happening for you.
That's because I am.
That's beautiful. You know, it's really powerful. And you know, Woody, that's our guy, man. Woody lost his sister down in Alabama. He just has been having a time, I swear. sometimes I don't know how Woody can manage all the stuff that is on his plate, but he, you know, he'll never complain when he just keeps right on pushing. I get a lot of encouragement from him, you know, myself, you know, because he will never, you know, fuss too much about nothing. You just keep it moving, you know what I mean? And because he have a relationship with Will, and Will, you know, reached out, and you know, this is how we kind of do it, you know. And so I see fruit of that in your face, and I'm glad you have to fuss when you take his coat off. Because he always look like he's trying to break for the door. You see, now you look like you're comfortable and you know you belong here, and I appreciate that. Give him a big hand, y'all. So you know who we've been missing, but now here he is, Mr. Dion Harris, you know what I'm saying? You better come on and give us a little update, brother.
I just started my other job yesterday, making more money at Take and Dump on Buck Van Derry Street. I'm still doing good. I got my own apartment, one bedroom apartment, 600 stock. I got all my state ID, birth certificate, social security card. Now I'm working on getting my license together so I can get a car.
Man.
Congratulations.
Give Deion some love.
You know, D. Harris doing good.
Right, that's good. Yeah, I like that about him. Yeah, he got that little swag. And you know, I'm going to tell the guys tomorrow we'll be up there in Rush City. That's where Deion is. Where we met him. And that's a good praise report. Congratulations. Don't get tired. And, you know, don't fall back. We talked about that while you wasn't here, man. You know, all them ghosts and all them demons from yesterday. You know, they're there, you know, but you don't have to engage them. Boy, that's good. But I want to go to Mr. Briscoe over here. He came in late, but you know, he's here. Mr. Briscoe, give us a little update on how you doing and what's happening.
Well, you know, right now my job is to find a job. One of the pop guys reached out to me, brother. You know, yesterday checked on me, see if I had any, success with getting a job. I still haven't, but I'm pretty sure, you know, by the end of the week I'll be employed. I got all my credentials together, you know, got a driver's license, you know, place, and I'm alright like that. My main priority is to get a job. Yesterday I heard the brothers on Camel J about the CDL training, so I went out there today and signed up for that.
Okay.
I had an interview. I had 2 interviews already.
What's the 2?
One at LSG, out at the airport, the food service, the airport. I went out there for a driver position and had the interview, and he offered me a helper position. You know, so we went from $18 to $14, so I told him just hold on. You know, I had an interview today at Diner Laundry, another driving position, $20 an hour, and that seemed pretty, promising. So I'm just keep back. I don't fill out multiple applications electronically. I've been working with Earl Conley down here at the 800 building on Broadway. Just utilizing my resources, being humble.
That's good.
Start from scratch.
That's good. That's good. That sounds real good. Give him some love. So we have officially brought Tierre, who's not here. Where is he?
He said he was hot and we couldn't make that.
Well, anyway, Tierre, we have officially brought Tierre on here at POP, so he has a job here now. His job is to locate jobs for pop guys. Our goal, one second, our goal is 0% unemployment. We're already close to that. We're already close to that, and we're a group that's working. But we want 0% unemployment, and then from now on, when guys come out, when you do that intake sheet that Wayne has, then you'll also kind of meet with Tierre and Tierra can kind of see what your history is. He'll get a copy of your resume and all of this and that, and hopefully he'll have some things lined up. And or we have Brother Marvin, who is a partner to us and an employment specialist, and Brother James, who's partner to us and an employment specialist, who have gotten many people over the years employment. Got Eric in the truck years ago.
Yeah, I wasn't even looking for a job. He got me a job.
Eric been driving ever since. And now Eric is accustomed to a certain level of pay. I love that, man. That's a beautiful thing. But my point is, I've kind of asked them to come alongside of Tierra, because Tierra is new to the employment thing, even though he's had to find employment, you know what I mean? He's worked some of these things to find his own job. But my goal in some ways is to get him trained by the people who we already messing with, and we're not going to stop messing with them, but we just want to have
in-house
and somebody in-house, you know, and it's a starter position, you know what I mean? And we couldn't afford James, you know, or Marvin. I wish we could, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I wish we could hire all the pop guys, and you know, probably that's selfish, but that's how I feel, you know. So, but I wanted you to know, and my hope was that you would be here tonight. But Tierra is going to be over here, where right next to Wayne, and for employment. You're going to direct things to, and he's going to be able to, he'll have your contact information, all of that kind of stuff, so when things come up, you know, he's able to plug you right in, along with the efforts, Albert, that you've been doing for yourself. Somebody else is looking for you too. At the same time, I'm excited about that as a growth opportunity for us here at POP, that we're getting to the place where we can support, you know, kind of our own specialist. So that's happening. One second, that's happening. Albert, you had something to do.
I've been calling the pop office. Who answering that phone when I call?
Wayne.
I be calling him every other day, swaying him talking about, look, what's up with that paper route?
Yeah.
Until I get a job.
Yeah.
He told me I gotta holler at you.
No, it's true. But see, the one thing about the paper route is that you can't just do it for a little while and then break off, because we have to add a route. That's a contract. A route is a contract. So if we add another route to the routes we already have, we're contractually obligated to deliver those papers. So if you didn't find another job during that time, the rest of the team is stuck with delivering those papers. So it's got to be a little bit more thoughtful. I think what you may want to get your day job, and then you may want to come back to that on the nighttime thing, your weekend thing, so you got to hustle, right? So you guys make enough to pay their car payment or pay these, you know, pay certain things, you know, and keep themselves flush. You get what I mean? And keep their pay, you know, together, you know. So last year we started it in March of last year, in the middle of snow. One night, but it was a lot of fun. I delivered papers for 6 months.
You did
until we got up and running, and tried to set a good work ethic. We never missed. You get what I mean? And we always help each other out and stuff like this here. Doug's delivering, Rio is delivering, and Akithia also is part of the team. Kevin and Ananiah have a team. Mike and Doug Fresh are a team. These guys, we got to give them some more papers because they're too fast now on their rapid. So AB, you can get on, but you just have to commit. It's a commitment, you know, to it. Because once you do, then you actually have committed the whole organization to that route together. But you know, some people didn't. You know, $300 a pay period, and, you know, this and that. And, you know. So that's we started that right here. We'll be a year old. We're a year old this month. This month you're a year old. We earned $17,000.
And that don't seem like a lot, but I'm gonna tell you something. That's just for like a couple hours. So just to place it in contact for you. So so Friday midnight. Okay, so I leave the house around. I'm gonna say I leave the house around 1 in the morning. So it's really Saturday, technically, right? And I get there around 1:30. Papers come between 1:30 to 2 if we're lucky, right? We get them made up. I'm out the door like me and Akita out the. Man, I'm trying to keep her home, but man, she ain't going.
She ain't going for it.
Right. So anyway, so we have the papers made like 20 minutes. We out the door. Okay, now I'm contracted for the city of Richfield, right? So Richfield's like 10-minute drive from Edina, right?
Edina is the depot.
Right, it's the newspaper depot. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 big old huge buildings, right? And I'm done on that Saturday with Akita, we got it down to like a half hour.
Wow.
Akita is a beast. I used to work buildings together. Now I drop her off at her own. I do. I drop her off. She got her own buggy car. I'll be like, all right, later. And I head down the way. You know what I'm saying? And so we back on the road heading home by around by 2:30, right? Now without her, it takes me around close to an hour, 45 minutes. Now on the Sunday route, cause these big fat papers, right? It take us an hour, right? The reason why I'm sharing this because we just put in a couple, no more than 4 hours. When Friday, Saturday, yeah. No more than 4 hours every pay period actually delivering it. And it's a couple $100. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at it like that, and you see that it's it's pretty rewarding. You know what I'm saying?
And there's something fun about it. I don't know what it is. It's just something fun about it. I actually miss it myself.
Yeah, Apostles hilarious.
Because I like to see where Miss Lolita is, or even further back. I could take that paper, and throw it, and then people gonna fall right there on that step. Bang! Make that noise, and that's what I'm shooting for. That sweet noise when it hits so quick. So I love that. But I tell you what, you guys getting faster too now. Y'all getting done fast.
Oh, they get done quick.
Keep you in the house on the weekends too.
Yeah, that's good. See, there you go. There you go. That's another reason they're keeping these guys home and on the good foot, as James Brown would say. And so that's available. But you just got it's a commitment. You got to just be committed. And it's there if you want it. Routes are coming up that are available that we can bid if you want it, but you got to be committed. T, what you got?
Well, I got another opportunity. I sent the hiring coordinator of JD Hutch an email. The man responded immediately and said, "Man, I got openings." He said, "If you got any guys that want to deliver, install windows and deliver this, that, this, and other, send them my way." I got this information in my phone. Anybody want to get down with JD Hutch? Take my information.
So give it to Wayne, and then Wayne will give it to you. That's an excellent thing. So I want to, before we get out of here, I want to give Isaac some time because he's still fighting the good fight of faith over at the halfway house. So what are they? These right here?
Yeah. Well,
okay. So right after right after Isaac, I'll make some, Wayne got me making some announcements, but I don't know what they are. Right over here, okay. These. I have some announcements.
First one's in there.
Okay, this is my wife and the Girls in Action, that's also our, the Girls in Action team here at POP need help with the I Am fundraiser. And so we do a fundraiser for Girls in Action every year. It's in, what's the date, Wayne?
May 3rd, I believe.
May what?
3rd.
May 3rd is coming up. Y'all remember the big poster of Michelle Obama that went up? You know, they put them up in St. Paul and everybody was going over there to see it. And then Michelle gave a shout out when she did her presentation here at downtown Minneapolis, where they're gonna have that big banner up there. They're gonna auction it off and stuff like that. We have the young lady from Channel 9, Iris Perez is gonna be the speaker, I mean the MC. And so it's gonna be, Tierre was there last year, I don't know who else, Curtis Harris was there. 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Oh, no. That's in the morning. I Am fundraisers in the morning, like from 7. Yeah, 7 to 8, 7 to 9, 9:30 we out of there. I'm going to tell you too, I'm going to mention that again. Ronnie Baker's homegoing service, that's Friday from 11 to 1. If you can make it over to Brooks Brothers Funeral Home on Concordia, we have to do that.
The other stuff just came in. It's basically MTN has a couple of things going on. One of them, there's 2 producers, there's a black Jewish guy and a black Muslim guy. They want to gather a group of people to create like a kind of like a, what do they call them on the political scene? The town meetings, town hall meetings, with people who've had a background. They just want to get everybody in there and just sit down and talk.
Okay. Wow. And so the trial of Muhammad Nur, why are we mentioning that?
That's just something that just popped up when they were giving me information.
Okay.
So we don't have to go with that one.
I'm gonna leave that out. But so having said those things, and we're gonna come back to them, the Ronnie Baker thing, that's this Friday. And so if you don't have a ride and you wanna go, then mention it to Wayne or something, and we'll figure out a way for Pop Guys to get there. A ride can't be the reason why you don't go to support this brother.
Right.
But Isaac, we want to give him some time here and just let him kind of tell us how things are going for him over at the Halfway House, VOA, over there in St. Paul. Go ahead.
First of all, God is good. He's been really helpful me keep my head. Just been going through a lot of little nitpicking things. You know, with the director, now and just, 2 staff. And it's been about things that have been medical issues mostly. Things that I need to stay afloat with my health, like with my water. You know, I have to drink like 5 16-ounce bottles of water every day. So when I go get my water, I'll come back with like 2 or 3 cases because that's how I've been going through it. And this one in particular, she was like, is it okay for you to have that water? So you have a computer over there that has everything that you need in it. Do you take the time to read it? Because when I come back from the hospital, I give you a copy of everything that the doctor says that I need and what I can do. So I said, yes, I have it okay for me to have the water. But this is not really about the water. It's really about my case and what I'm in there for. And she done took it personal.
So, okay, so by way of background, Isaac, he's got a homicide case and shot a police officer here in Minneapolis about 40 years ago. And, there's still a lot of politics and drama that surrounds that. So just by way of background, go ahead.
So anyway, she's studying to be a police officer.
Wow.
But thank God he took on like about 5 sisters that work there now. So they have my back, you know. So that's been a blessing there. At my job, you know, I'm just starting my new job now on the 15th because they just got through finalizing all the contracts. I'm the power washer, spray for cleaning like the parking lots and walls and stuff like that. And that's gonna run me like $20 an hour. So that's a blessing. And Bill, my agent, he's really been working with me as far as with the halfway house. He knows that they're doing little nitpicking like things. So he's been speaking on my behalf, you know, about that, which has been really good because I almost talk to him every other day, literally, just to, you know, he used to be my caseworker. The commissioner promoted me to be an agent so that he could look after the lifers that he let out to kind of like help us out, so there's no real roadblocks. But there's been times when I got really angry, like just tired, you know, of the BS. It was like a week and a half ago. I was on the green line and a kid was all up in my face. That flashbacks from cell blocks hit me. And I'm like, I don't want no problem, but you have to keep my space there and quit telling me what you're going to do. That's red flags for me. Because if you keep giving me the same information and I take it serious, I'm going to act out. And he was like telling me now he's going to take my beats, my headphones, and I'm like, okay, pushing it. So there's like two young sisters that's telling me leave old school alone because you can see he's not playing. So the older sister tells him the same thing. He's like, man, I'll whoop old school right. Before I knew I had to paste him up against the wall.
Oh Lord, you can't do
and
that.
the door just happened to open up, so I threw him off the train.
Okay. Oh God.
You know, everybody clapped. So, but you know, I was like, he was wrong. Oh, kid, you can't do that. I know I can't do it, but it's like I said, I had flashbacks. Off the wall away. Instead, he tell me he's gonna take my stuff. You're gonna beat me up, and like, dude, leave me alone. You know, you have no idea. You know, so. Dude, I mean, it could have been worse than what it was. I didn't pursue it, you know, which I'm glad I challenged my thinking with that, but still, it was wrong. It could have cost me a trip back in. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I really analyzed the whole situation. Then I shared it with one of my ex-pop guys in Valva. And because I always feel that with a lifer, we're going through the same thing, that, you know, we can help one another by, you know, talking about what's going on. You know, sometimes I call Patrick and let him know, you know, when I'm like, you know, and he helps me, you know, get through it, you know. And I'm always going to use my lines of communication, you know, when I'm feeling that type of way, because I know me. And I'm not trying to go back to my dark side, you know. That's why I said I need to be here tonight. I need to get some things off my chest. But this brother, you know, he crossed the line. He went and told somebody that works in the system about my situation. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I called Willie and I told him, I said, you know, I got ill feelings about the situation. It's like, I don't want to call the brother up because I don't want to make it confrontational, and I don't want to make it worse than what it is. But I got to give that brother space. I mean, I got to really give him space. And we grew up together. Wow. You know, from like the 7th grade. You know what I'm saying? And we're like family. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like I was stabbed in the back. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like I was stabbed in the back. And it's like that bond will never be again. You know what I'm saying? Because you done broke confidentiality with me, and I can't trust you. And if I can't trust you, then there's nothing there, you know. So, and not only that, he wants to badmouth the group, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm not feeling none of that, you know. You wonder why I don't call you up and really talk to you about things like I do with Baba. It's because me and Baba spend quality time together. That brother really there for me since day one.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying? He's been there for me.
That's right.
Thick and thin, you know.
That's right.
And I love Baba because Baba, I could have got another life sentence in prison. Baba's intervened. Well, God put him in my life, and he put him there at that point in time where he got my attention, where I didn't do what I started to do. Wow. You know what I'm saying? I will always be thankful to that brother. Sure.
Wow. That's right.
And I know my real friends, you know what I'm saying? That's why I told the brother Mackey that just left, it's like, you got to cut certain people off, man. It don't mean you no good. That jealousy and that envy is terrible. That has always been there with this brother that I'm talking about. You know, since day one. And it's like, you don't have to envy me. You don't have to be jealous of me. You can do the same thing I'm doing. But just do how you do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, you know, I'm good. I'm over it because it's like, it's not worth the time of day. I know how God has been blessing me and doors have been opening up left and right for me. You know, with this job, I couldn't have it at first because it was a residential job. When they were hiring, the guy, he liked my conversation, he liked me so much, he said, look, man, and he talked to Bill, our PO. He said, man, this is what I'm going to do. April 1st, we'll start a commercial. He says, I'm keeping you on, you're going to keep the same pay, same benefits, same everything. And I just thank God for that because it was like, I know what I need. I know the type of lifestyle that I like. And I could take care of my business with $20 an hour. I could start saving for my pension and everything. So it was a stress reliever. That really took it off of me when I got blessed with this job. But, you know, Satan has been attacking me left and right, you know.
So let me hold you right here. Give him a little love right now. I'm going to take just a couple of people who have some feedback. That was powerful. Nope. You can't throw nobody from the train. That's okay. Let me just get that in. Look, that's out. Cut it. Although, okay. So a couple people who have feedback though for Isaac, we're just gonna go because I want to make sure he's hearing from the group. Somebody go.
Wow.
Patrick and Will. Right.
One of the things that, you know, come to mind as you talking about this again, tests will be tests until you pass them. And just because you're not doing something doesn't mean that you've had the chance to overcome whatever it is that makes you tick. There are situations, I get it, when people get in your face, but that's all about ego. And I mean, I get it. Where we were raised from, families we were brought up in, that's fighting style, you know. I mean, you shouldn't even let. But where we've been, we ain't got no room for that, you know, at all. So if it means walking away, walk away. You know what I'm saying? Because I want you to be out here.
Yes, sir.
You know? I mean, me and Isaac go to the same church, so you know, we get a chance to eat at church, we get a chance to, you know, talk, you know, so I would prefer to see you on the outside as to be trying to shoot you a letter or a kite or something saying you all right, you know. So you know, you got to make that strong choice. You know, you the bigger man.
That's excellent feedback right there. Will, what you got?
No, well, I just, you know, I just want to, say that, just keep reminding yourself who you are, what you've been through to get to this point. You know what I'm saying? And that's important because you deserve to be here. Now you work just as hard as any of us, even harder in some ways, just because they kept making you go that extra mile. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what it takes. You just have to be patient with yourself, man, and understand that, we may still feel like we have that, that mentality that we're always fighting, we always at war, we warriors, gladiators, and you know what I'm saying, soldiers, but even soldiers mature to different levels.
That's good.
You understand? And there's no reason why you have to still interact the way you did 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I used to like, fighting all the time. I remember how the brothers used to get on me. Brother, you can't be fighting. Let us do this. I'd be, no, I got it. You know what I mean? And I'd go and say it. Because I just used to like it. I used to like it. You know what I'm saying? But, but now, man, I ain't got time to be really fighting nobody. You know what I'm saying? I mean, my mind is on other things. You know what I'm saying? Been there, done that. And now it's time to embrace the fact that I'm 33 and, you missed about 12 years. It's time to mature, and live in harmony with how old I am. You know what I'm saying? So just, take your time, brother, and, you deserve to be here. But you have to do what it takes to stay here.
That's well said.
I got one more piece of feedback. I had
what if the mic lead? Oh, okay. All right.
I had an elder brother. You all might know him, Blue Fox. Blue Fox gave me a piece of advice that stuck with me forever. I bumped into him working at Solo. And he told me, he said, keep that wall in front of you. He said, when you get out as a reminder to not to come back, keep that wall in front of you. So every time any rational thought come to mind, I think about, wow, and I was behind a wall, and it wasn't pleasant. So remember that. Keep that wall in front of you.
That's right.
And it worked.
Wow.
So remember that.
I mean, and rather than be boxing you in, Tony done went to the state of Minnesota, looked like, and got him a customized license plate that says Pop Guy. I was thinking, man, I should have did that.
I'm beyond y'all too. I thought I'd be the first.
But I love one other thing that's important. I have, through some research that I did with some time ago, we discovered that the number one way to go to jail or prison in Hennepin County was a traffic stop.
Wow.
And so that having a legitimate driver's license, being able to present your credentials, it suggests to the officer that they can stand down. Everything's good. See, if you present something or you don't have nothing, okay, now we're going to run everything. Or you present something that's faulty, that means you're lying about something else, and now we all up in your car, and the next thing with this or that. And so we support everybody who is after his driver's license to really put effort into that. As a matter of, I'll leave it at that. So it's so important to me that I'm willing to give a little blessing for men who you gotta get your permit, that's a start, $50. Another $50 when you get your license. So So, you know, I'm gonna try to get somebody else's money to give you. Right now, I'm just giving you my money. But so Duval went on the other day. He was nervous. He waited, I don't know how many years. Okay. Wait a minute, I don't know how many years. Somebody say years. Years. Duval waited years, say years. Years. He waited years, but that boy went over there and got his permit, and here it is. You see him looking all cute. I just want you to know, I'm a man of my word, and then I'm gonna give you something. This is $100. I don't have no 50s, but I want my $50 back. Somebody,
Pop, I got a CDL. What's up with that?
Isaac got you. Come on.
Isaac, the other 50 on the Isaac.
Yeah, I
Give him another 50. This stuff is so important. Let me just tell you, we're laughing because it's funny, but I'm gonna tell you something else. We're laughing, but it's serious for us to have our credentials. Say credentials. Credentials. Wait a minute. See, when you're an illegal driver, it means that you don't have credentials. Yeah. So see, what a credential is, look, when you have a poor attitude, it means you don't have the credentials. A good attitude is actually a credential. But also a permit or a driver's license or the insurance, say insurance. That's a credential, say credential. Say credentials are really important. And every credential that you can add is an important one to the good. I got Geico. These guys had, give it. You know, that's the one with the little duck. But watch this. But I was especially proud of Duval because, you know, that test was, he was apprehensive. I'll use that term. And he got pushed into it. And I'm gonna tell you what made him take it. But my sister went over there. And she got hers on the first go around. All right. And then she went back to the job talking about, and I think that right there jugged she jugged him, and then, you know, mess around there. Oh, this is all new looking, you know, all cute looking right here. I said, got his, give him a little hand right there. And
license?
What we doing? That's look like a permit though.
Is that the license?
I got a 95. 95. What's a 95? On the
only did one thing wrong.
Which one?
Part went like this real quick.
This is some important stuff, man. Yeah. Credentials, say credentials. Credentials. Yeah, if you didn't graduate from high school and you go back and get your GED, that's a credential. If you got your GED and now you're in college and you're working towards your degree, that's a credential. If you have a good attitude, that is a credential. If you get all that cussing and slime out of your mouth, that is a credential. Yeah, credentials are important. Wow. Get it? I thank everybody that was able to come here tonight. Nate, we love you. We're glad to see you. Nate and his wife, I believe they're looking for a house. Is that right?
At the moment, we're not.
Y'all backed up?
Yeah.
Okay. Come on, let's pledge out of here.
I am doing real estate investment, though. So I am looking for houses
all the time. That's his job now. Come on in, Mike.
Yes, sir.
Come on over here, Gerald. All y'all. Come on, none, baby. We're going to back up, son. Right. You, go back to the board. Come on in here, Come on. Come on, Joe. Eric. Charlie here. Hold up. Come on, Mike. Come on, everybody. Let's go. Let's go. Mike got that pretty nice jacket on. I like it. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, Wayne. Get in. Get all the way in. Yeah. Yeah, I will. Balance my family values. My goals. I have goals. I am. Somebody. I will. Exercise wisdom. When I choose to eat. Read. And do. Because I am. Somebody. I will. Strive to make all relationships. Win-win. Or no deal. Because I am. Somebody. I will. Under every circumstance. Maintain a positive attitude. Because I got it like that. Because I am. Somebody. I will. Enjoy my life. With a sense of humor. While taking advantage of all opportunities. Learning from my misfortunes. And learning from my misfortunes. Because I am. Somebody. I will. Act upon circumstances. Rather than have them act upon me. I will. On a daily basis. Be proactive and thoughtful about my goals. I will. Always protect my wisdom. My health. My happiness. Because I am. Somebody. I will. Stay principle centered. Maintain a positive circle of influence. I will. Daily learn. Commit. And do what I need to do. Because I am. Somebody. I will. Act according to the POP Leadership Institute. And be productive in my community. And my private life. Because I am. Somebody. All right, now give somebody a hug.